I was at a wedding last night, and someone came up to me and said, Rabbi Travis, we just saw your video on Yeshiva World News about Rabbi Hull, Rabbi Daniel Hull, who does the Ayin Hara removal. And is this really something which is genuine, or is this some sort of hocus pocus hoax? And I told him as follows. But my wife and I were having a very difficult time with many, many problems, including her father passing away 4 days before the wedding, and almost choked to death in Rio de Janeiro, a fire, meningitis, pneumonia, sukkah being torn down, Erev Yontif, buying an apartment and getting all the money stolen, and my daughter being hospitalized many times and then being hit by a car and pronounced dead, amongst other things. So my Rebbe, my primary Rebbe of Shlomo Reb Zatzal, Hagoyin Tzaddik, he told me, surprisingly, he said, your wife and you should do Ayin Hara removal. So he went to a certain person, I don't remember exactly who it was, and they did this process, pouring lead over your head. Of course, they do it into a pan, not directly, it would be quite painful. And amazingly enough, after this was done, I felt such a removal uh, of tension and dinim, and things were improved. Then he told us a couple more times to do it. In any event, my close friend Daniel Hull, I've known for over 30 years, was extremely l'shem shamayim. Remember, one of his big missions in life is to get people to know the Ashesh Midas Tmidias, and came up with an acronym for it, which was very powerful. Tiena, which the Chavetz Chaim actually quotes in the beginning of Mishnah Berurah. He doesn't say why he's quoting Tiena, so Rabbi Hull explained how these Sheish Mitzvahs Tmidias are actually rumors in the word Tiena, which is this pasuk about Ari Miklat, and these 6 mitzvahs are Ari Miklat. In any event, he's one of the most Hashem Shemaim people I know, and he does this. And when he does it, he doesn't just do Ayin Hara, he makes a war against the Ayin Hara. Literally, he's doing battle with it, as he says. He has his apron with his, he doesn't have a sword, literally, but basically is making war with the Ayin Hara. He makes you take on a Kabbalah to do a mitzvah. It's extremely Shem Shemaim, it's the real thing. It's the real thing. I had an operation almost a year ago, an ACL, and I was in extreme pain in most of my body. And I went to him, and he did the Ayin Hara removal, and he told me what the problem was before I told him anything. And after he did it, I felt much, much better. He showed me exactly each thing that came out, what it was from, and what it was all about. And look, heebie-jeebies. I know one of my primary teachers, Rabbi Yisrael Belsky, wrote a book about different homeopathic medicines which he held were hoax. And you could believe it or not believe it, but after Reb Revda told me that this is the real thing, and Reb Revda was the last one to believe heebie-jeebies, so I took it really seriously, and I can tell you from my own experience that it's the real thing. So, want to look up Daniel Hull, he does it remotely as well. He's very l'shem shamayim. I've known him for over 30 years. The first time I met him, I asked him, are you by any chance related to my chavrusa, Uri Perlman Zatzal, who tragically was killed at the age of 25 in a car accident? He said, yes, my brother-in-law. How'd you know? I said, because the two of you have a similar personality. Somebody who's also very vibrant and very pa'il, a doer. So, if you are worried about Ayin Hara, it's a good place to turn. Rabbi Hull. Best thing is to go to his house in Ramat Shlomo, Rehov, Atzadik Stefanov. If you can't make it to his house, he does it remotely. Also, Daniel Hull, look him up online. And B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem doesn't associate his name even with the Avos. He wouldn't put his name, because you never know if a person is really l'shem shamayim or not. Yitzchak got his name with Hashem while he's still alive because he was blind for his like a base. But until we leave this world, No one can attest to L'Shem Shemayim. I can't attest to L'Shem Shemayim, that's for sure. When I asked Rav Ari Finkel, who was probably the most L'Shem Shemayim person I've ever known and the most Torah, he said, "Do you think I can say that I'm L'Shem Shemayim?" He said, "I daven every Shabbos. Entirely bein love the Chabemis." In any event, from what I know of Daniel Hol, he's someone who's really L'Shem Shemayim. He's really concerned with taking off people's Ayin Hara, and it's something which is extremely reliable and extremely worthwhile, especially if you're going through great sorrows like my wife and I were. I can't say that all the sorrows went away, but things did improve significantly. And I know Rav Moshe Halberstein lived across the hall in Rehov Yol 3 from a family who does it. I think the name is Lutzker. We used to go there once a week. The other day, I with the dots because being a Dayan is a very susceptible to Ayin Hara. The Gemara says 99 out of 100 people die of Ayin Hara. So, unless you're from the 1% who is such a big tzaddik and has such a good reputation that no one has Ayin Hara on them, so very likely maybe that you have Ayin Hara. In any event, I'm wishing everyone a Ksiva Torah from the Koso on this morning, which you hear this shofar from the Slichos. Should all be zoichet to come and do tshuva, saying about Yom Kippur, Lifnei Hashem Titaro, to all to be tar Lifnei Hashem. Hashem should give us bracha and tzlacha to achieve this tar Lifnei Hashem, to do tshuva shlema, and Yisrat Hashem, to find true nachas in Hashem's eyes. I'll conclude with one thought. When I was zoichet one time in my life to meet Rav Vazner, was at the Spadim for Rav Shach, and Rav Vazner spoke, and Rav Vazner looked like a malach. His face was radiating with light, and he just kept saying over, Nachas Ruach. Rav Shach was a Nachas Ruach to Hashem. That's our goal. Our goal is not to be the richest person or to be even be the best davener or the biggest Tam Chacham. It's good to know Shas is good, to get stuck is good, to be connected to Hashem is good. But the biggest goal in life really is to give Nachas Ruach to the Parade. This is what it's all about. This is what we're looking for. And a person gives Nachas Ruach to Hashem by finding his own personal kochos, by identifying the special talents that Hashem gave him and using it to serve Hashem. Rav Dan Segel often says that. Kavnes Hashem bo'necha, right? Bo'necha. A person's hone, a person's wealth, are the special characteristics that he was given. So, we want to really come back to Hashem and El, find your special kodesh and nefesh, and use them for Hashem. There's something Daniel Hol has really done. Aside from being a massive Tam Chacham, and he was the brother-in-law of Chavrusa Early Perman, who was father, Rabbi Yosef Perman, who's the Chavrusa with Shach. He's an unbelievable person. But finding your kodesh and nefesh and using them to bring kavod shemayim, not because you want money, not because you want fame. My teacher of Shlomo Zafrani told me, I asked him once, how do you know if a person's L'Shem Shemayim or not? He told me there's two ways. His inner self, you can know from his sneers. His outer self, you know with his money. So, I'm taking this opportunity to vouch for my Yedid Nefesh, Daniel Hol, and I'm not even getting any royalties on this. I'm doing it purely because I think he's somebody who could really help people. He helped me a lot, and he could help people. If you're really suffering from a lot of problems, it's very likely you have an Ayin Hara on you. And after he does the procedure, you see these like big chunks of lead, which are shaped like different parts of the body. And it's a little bit scary, but it is what it is. And this is Yerushalmi tradition. This is the way Ayin Hara is removed. Hashem should give everyone bracha b'atzlacha, a ksiva v'chsima teva, a year filled with parnasa, health, shalom bayis, and chinuch. Amen. King Tzvah.